conversation, shining the light on the community. With us today, I have a beautiful guest all the way from Florida, US, the other side of the world from me. Um, Gloria Grace Rain. Gloria, thank you for joining us, Gloria. I'm really excited about our conversation, our conversation, because we've got a couple of things to chat about. We're going to talk about your beautiful retreats that you love doing, but you live such an interesting life. You've written a book, and I really want to know about your whole story because I love this is what it's all about, shining the light on our community. So
Mm.
you're a beautiful member. So welcome, Gloria,
Well, thank you so much.
to our conversation. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your beautiful thing and how did you get, how has your life brought you to writing a book and now running retreats?
Well, yeah, it's an interesting story. So I started off life as in television, actually. My prior career before I started my own business, I worked in television for a public television station and for their program called the Nightly Business Report. And I did that for many years. I worked my way up the ladder, became a writer producer for them. And then that was when I lived in Miami at the time. And then my husband had an opportunity to move to the Orlando area. And so I wasn't able to work full time for NBR anymore. And so I had to figure out something else to do. And for a while, I was being a stay-at-home mom, taking care of my kids, and that was great. And I was a Girl Scout leader for a while and things like that. And as the kids got older, though, and I'm realizing that I wanted to do something else, and I didn't want to go back to. I didn't want to work in local television because working for financial news, you're spoiled because you don't work holidays. Stock market's closed, and we would pre-tape a show, so I had to do something else, and I wound up. I kept getting this mail that said, "Can you write a letter like this?" And it was advertising a course to learn how to do copywriting and to
Mm-hmm.
write junk mail letters essentially. And so I wound up investing in that course and launched my business in 2009 and became an SEO copywriter because I found it, everything was moving online and I liked the idea of having to find the right keywords because SEO stands for search engine
Right,
optimization.
that's right.
And so you have to find the right keywords to make a website show up on Google. But then I get to use the creative part of my brain to actually make that sound enticing and not repetitive. So it was a lot of fun and doing that type of work. I've really enjoyed it, and I still do that work today, and still writing for people's websites or writing blog articles and things like that. Um, but along the way, my journey sort of took a turn, and I I'm the baby of the family. So I had an
Mm-hmm.
older brother and an older sister. My brother was 14 years older than me, but he passed when I was in college. And then my sister was 10 years older than me. And in 2015, unfortunately, she was diagnosed with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a aggressive sarcoma. And she lived in Arizona and I lived in Florida. So I had to start going out to, well, I didn't have to, but I chose to fly out to Arizona as often as I could to be with her when she was going through chemo. And it's no fun. I'm sure any of you who are listening, if you had a family member go through cancer, it's not easy. And at the same time, in retrospect, there were some blessings that came out of it. For one thing, is we got to spend a lot of time together, and we
Yes.
had got to compare notes on our childhoods because we had slightly different childhoods. Because she went away to college when I was 7, so I really grew up as an only child, and so anyway, it was good, good and bad. And then the following year in October of 2016, I was meditating had started meditating when I started, shortly after I started the business, I discovered meditation, and that actually really helped me in taking care of my sister, because it helped keep me grounded so that I could be there, really be
For her.
100% present for her.
Mhm.
And, but this morning meditation, all of a sudden, this idea popped in my head that said, you should write a book about love. And I'm like, where's this coming from? I do online marketing. I write about blogging and social media. Like, what do I know about love? I thought that was for, I don't know, PhD psychologists or something. And yet I still decided to, I sat down at my computer and I decided to explore, okay, well, what could I write about love? And then love turned out to be an acronym. And it stood for, the L was let go and let God. The O was open your heart to receive. The V was value your uniqueness. And the E was embrace your divinity.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And I wasn't able to do much more with it then, because especially shortly thereafter, I had to fly out to Arizona because my sister was in the hospital and they thought they were going to lose her then because she had some complications from the cancer, but she did pull through. But a couple of days after Christmas in 2016, she did transition. So I didn't really do anything with the book for a good year and a half before I started looking at it. And then while I was working with a coach one day, I had this major breakthrough because it finally dawned on me why I had to write a book about love, because I had to learn how to love myself and
Yes.
how to stand up for myself. And so it was like, this book was for me. Oh, yes. And it would be nice to share with everybody else, but it was like for me. And so I really got into writing it and started really asking God, okay, so what does all this stuff really mean? And explored it. And it turned out to be much more of a memoir than I had intended either as well. I thought it was going to be this, how-to book. And I was like, no, that wasn't what it was about. So yeah, so that's sort of the long story short, but now I'm really passionate about helping others, helping women in particular who've, have issues with self-confidence and things like that, and to be able to help them to really own their power and to step into that. And I love what you do with this community, because I think it fits right in with that, what you're doing to empower others as well. And yeah, so that's my story.
That's your story, which is absolutely amazing. And even with your, having to losing, your brother and then your sister, which is very, traumatic, and having to recover from that. Um, but now getting to where you are now, helping others to love
Yeah.
themselves. And I so love your acronym for love. I so love your acronym for love. Totally, definitely going to write that one down. Um, and now you're running retreats
Yeah. Yeah.
also to help that.
I've been blessed to attend a couple of retreats and really see the benefit of getting away. I mean, one retreat I did, my first retreat I did 5 years ago, was a wise women retreat where we went to the mountains of North Carolina and um, got to explore, things from, chakras and doing, creating talking sticks and all sorts of cool things, sound healing. We had someone come in who did a didgeridoo and things like that. And then I did, actually, this was after my sister passed. I did a 10-day Vipassana silent
Okay. Yes.
meditation retreat, which
Yes, I
was,
know them. Yeah.
yeah, also amazing. And so I think retreats are so great to be able to pull you out of your element and have you experience some new things. And so that's why I I'm turning 60 this year, and I decided that I wanted to celebrate my birthday by running my own retreat because
Mm-hmm.
I've developed other skills along the way. I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I also channel light language,
Mm-hmm.
and which is a wonderful gift that I've been able to do now for the last couple of years, and really having that be a way to communicate with other people's souls. And I thought I was sitting in my living room like a month ago. Frankly, that's how fast this came together. And my cat jumped up on my lap, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, I want to do something for my birthday. What can I do? And I was like, yeah, I want to do a retreat. And then it was like all these ideas started coming in my head, like, oh yeah, we could do yoga. I do oracle card reading. We could do some of that. And I could do the light language. And then I found out that the weekend that I wanted to do it, which is the weekend before my birthday in September, it's September 9th, 10th, and 11th, there was a full moon on Saturday. So I'm like, okay, it's got to
That's
be
it.
divinely, intended. So we'll do some sort of full moon, releasement ceremony or something. And so, yeah. And then I sent out some feelers to people. It's like, would this interest you? And they were like, yeah, that sounds good. So I'm like, okay, I took that as a sign to just run with it. And I purchased a domain name like, I think 4 years ago. I kept
Yes.
planning to do this retreat because I found this perfect domain name. It was called Unplug to Recharge. And
Yes.
.com wasn't available, so I got .us, but I like to say it's Unplug to Recharge Us.
Us.
And I'm like, so now I was like, okay, I've got the domain. I'm gonna do it.
Oh my. I mean, there, if you can, if you're a person which who follows all the symbols and signs and stuff like that,
Hmm.
yes, yeah, and I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, I really wish I lived in the US at the moment.
Me too.
For everyone
Oh
who
well.
does live in the US, I do really recommend checking out Gloria's Retreat, because it would be certainly well worth it and things. So when are you actually having it again?
So it's September 9th, 10th, and 11th. So
11th.
that weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
And where is it being held?
So it's being held it's at a lovely boutique retreat center that is called Contemplation Castle.
Uh-huh.
And I love the name that a friend of mine called it this because it's located not too far from another castle in Disney World. For those of you who are familiar with, Cinderella's castle. So it's located not too far from there,
Yeah.
and it's in lovely. There's a nice you know, secluded wooded area, and there's lots of natural beauty. And then she's got a fire pit and a swimming pool and a sauna and all sorts of wonderful amenities for everybody to be there. So I'm really it and also it was like I wanted to have it near where I lived in Melbourne, but every place was booked up. And then I remembered I had talked to Jessica like about a week before this. I'm like, and she was telling me about her retreat house. I was like, Jessica, do you have that weekend open? And she's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I'm like, okay.
That's
You don't
great.
anymore.
And it's so. I think it's such a essential part of life in today's world. We live in this world that's a little bit crazy,
Yeah,
that we're all under, even though we know that time is an illusion, we allow
right.
that illusion to take over our life.
Yeah,
And it's always, I never have time for me.
yeah,
Where what you're offering and showing is that, that it is much more than a glorified vacation. It truly
yeah.
is. It's an
Oh, yes.
opportunity to reconnect, to unplug,
Yeah.
and to nurture the soul, to nurture ourselves. Because
Mhm.
as you know, Gloria, and what you've been through with your family and looking after your sister and being there for your sister, you can't be there for others unless you be there for yourself first.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And it's you have to be able to, they say on the airplane, put your oxygen mask on first before you take care of the kids, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to do it. So that's why I always, when I was taking care of my sister, I made sure that I still got up early enough and did my meditation beforehand, because I needed that for me so that then I would be able to take care of her. So it's and I know people say that they're too busy sometimes, and I understand, because they're, you want it to, and you want to be able to take care of everybody else either in your family, or maybe if you're in business, you want to take care of your clients, and I get that, because I've been there, done that. And if you don't take care of yourself, then things can happen, and then you can't take care of your family. So you have to be able to take care of yourself first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And things like that. And also, just bringing back your book that we can see, is that
Yeah.
is your book available on your website? How do people get hold of your book?
Yeah, it's on my website, which is gloriarand.com, and you can also find it on Amazon as
Oh, and
well.
everything
So
else.
you can get it there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
And in your book, does it have lots of tips and things about taking care of ourselves and loving
Yeah, at the
ourselves?
end of each, because
Valuing.
I divided it into 4 sections, so that it goes through the love method. At the end of each section, I do have what I call love practices, so that there are certain things that you can do, so that you can, yeah, be able to put this into practice. And yeah, because um, yeah, I really realized that, again, even though I was independent, I still liked relying on my sister sometimes to be able to, even just to talk things out with
Of
her. and
course.
and so I realized that, well, I needed to step into my big girl panties and, start taking care of myself. I couldn't rely on her, and which ultimately we all have to do that at some point. We
Yes.
really do need to be able to just, um, again, take care of ourselves, and then we'll be able to take care of other people.
Mm.
And I don't know if I could mention as well, I'm also, in along these lines, realized as that I wanted to be able to provide an additional training on self-care. So I'm doing a free training on, well, tomorrow. So depending on where you are, August 5th, let's say,
August
at
5th,
five
yes.
o'clock Eastern time.
Yes.
And it's called Self-Care Isn't Selfish. And so if you go to, I'll put the link in the comments
Mm.
afterwards,
Yes.
but you'll be able to get to it. And it's yeah, because I really want to have people understand why it's so important that you do take care of yourself, and then also give some ideas on what you can do to start doing that now, because you deserve to be able to live the life you want right now,
Oh,
not
totally.
wait.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and and I'd love to chat more, really, because you spark so much. It's such an interest in me, and I can, like, it's heart opening what you've been talking about. I can really connect with your story, and the meditations and the vipassanas and retreats and stuff like that, and then having to care for family members and losing family members at such a young age, and stuff like that is very,
Yeah.
it does affect us. But now being able to help others to develop the ability, but also the time, the passion, and the priority. That's the word that I was
Mm.
looking for, to make it a
Yeah,
priority about self care, because it's not selfish.
exactly.
As we all know, that if we didn't care for ourselves, no one
Right.
else is going to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
Ultimately.
definitely can't care for others in the way that we really need. People do care
Mhm.
for us physically,
Yeah.
but that, as you know, the real self care is like meditating. No
Hmm.
one can meditate for us. No one can fill our emotional needs for us.
That's
We
for
have to
sure.
do that ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really love that, and I really, really honor you for bringing this to the world and to sharing your story, and to offering it both on a physical, in a physical location, running your retreats. And if you ever
Yeah.
come to Australia, please let me know. Let's do a retreat
Definitely.
together. Love to do that. I can actually see you running retreats all over the world,
Mm.
and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I would love to. I figured this is a good start. And because it's still a little, some people are still a little uncomfortable about traveling other places. And then frankly, the airlines have been a little crazy lately too.
lately,
So
yes. Yeah,
so yeah, so especially if you're within driving distance of Florida,
yes,
definitely make it a priority. Because yeah, and I love that you mentioned priority because that's it. It's like so often we put ourselves at the bottom of that priority list, and
correct.
we need to bump ourselves up.
Yeah,
We need
yeah.
to be up on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, it really is because I hear almost on a daily basis, especially within our communities, that I'm too busy, I don't have the time. And I go, but that's not true. We all
Yeah.
have the time. We all have the
Hmm.
same amount of time, the illusion of time. We all have it. We had the same amount of time that we had 10 years ago. Um, it's just what is the priority to fill
Yeah.
that time with? And for a lot of people, especially women, um, our self care is not the priority.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's helping those people to bring in the self care as a
Hmm.
priority. So I just want to thank you
Mm.
for sharing this, and for everyone who is listening, whether it's on now live or on a replay. Of course, I'm here chatting with the beautiful Gloria Rand, who we will be putting all of Gloria's links in the comments soon. It's all about, self-care and loving the self and retreating,
Hmm.
going on a retreat where it's a way to reconnect. If you do live in Florida or anywhere in the States, do check out Gloria's retreat. And Gloria, before we do finish, we're talking about, about your book and the love tips and things like that. And one question that I do have is, well, would you like to share any of your love tips that help us make our world a better
Mm.
place?
Absolutely. And this I feel goes right along with our self-care theme is that value your uniqueness part,
Hmm.
because that was the hardest part for me to write because I had the least amount when I went through the rough draft. I didn't have it in there as much in there because I wasn't valuing what was unique about me. So one of the things I encourage people to do is to make a list of everything that you're good at, everything that comes easy to you, and then if you're a business owner in particular, make sure that you're taking note of people who have left you testimonials in your business, and just really compile this big list so that on the days when you are feeling less than, because we all have them, where we're feeling like something's gone wrong and it's like, I'm not good enough. You can go back in and you can read this and say, oh, wait a minute, I did this. Oh, wow. I did that. Oh, I've forgotten about that. Oh, and they really liked it when I did this for their business and I helped them out in this way. And it can really help lift you up because we do need that from time to time. I had to learn this lesson is that life is a journey, and that I'm never going to be fixed. For a long time I wanted to be fixed, and I realized, yeah, um, we you learn, you grow, you can be good for a while, and then something else happens, and then you're going to have to, you know, roll with that, and then learn and grow and again. But as long as you can keep doing that and keep progressing, then life is good. And so that's my one tip to share.
One tip is about valuing things and progressing in life, learning and progressing. And yeah, I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Because as I, think if we don't value ourselves, no one else is going to.
Yeah.
And that I think is the wonderful thing for you in being able to write your book is putting it all into practice.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I really feel connected, and I'm going to check out your book. So I want to thank you very much. Please do come back. I would really love to talk to you more
Oh, I would
um,
love that.
about just about love and your whole acronym for love. You can break that down. It's
Yeah.
such a very, 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 very powerful. Good luck on your retreat. I said I would really love to be in the States. Little bit too far to fly over for a weekend,
I
especially
know.
now at the moment, as you know, the airline's
Yeah.
going crazy. Um, but let's do something sometime in the future. I can see you do, like I said,
Yeah.
international retreats with Gloria.
Absolutely. I'm
Definitely.
down for that for sure. I've had that on my vision board for quite a while to be able to do more traveling. So absolutely. I would love it.
Good. Well, you're more than
Yeah.
welcome to come to Australia and do a retreat.
All right.
We'll even
Well,
organise it for you. Not a problem.
excellent.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you, Gloria, so very much for joining us today.
Uh,
And for everyone who is watching us, of course, do check out Gloria's website, and all the links. And I would really thoroughly recommend getting a copy of Gloria's book. I feel that it's very, very powerful. So do that. I'm certainly going to. And for everyone who's watching, having a beautiful day. And Gloria, you too have a wonderful, incredible day. And thank you so much for joining us.
oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this was a delightful interview, and I really appreciate the opportunity to share with your community. Well, I'm in the community too, but share with our community. There we go.
Share with
Share
our
with our
community.
sacred community. Yeah.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Thank